did we have of Charlie Kirk? Speaking of, he had a clip I put in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, 10 here. Okay, let's really quickly do this. So we played a video of Jesse Waters being outraged about this Democrat campaign ad that says you can keep your vote secret from your husbands. We played Newt Gingrich and Sean Hannity outraged about that very ad as well. But Charlie Kirk is upset too. Here's what he has to say about that disgusting advertisement that Julia Roberts, I guess, narrated. It's from a left-wing Christian group that's anti-Trump. And they were basically, it indicates it's a woman coded as MAGA, her husband coded as MAGA, going into the voting booth, giving another woman a wink and making it clear that they voted for Kamala Harris secretly, which I think might actually be a real dynamic in this race. So here's Charlie Kirk, very upset that Democrats would be encouraging women to be disobedient.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating, where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provide for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling. And she needs people to basically
So undermine their husbands, the greatest crime in the history of humanity, apparently. Does he have anything to say about the fact that men, does he have any thoughts about if women who are voting contrary to their husbands, if women have asked their husband to vote a different way? Has that ever crossed any of these guys' minds that maybe it's the man that's being disobedient? Maybe one of these women has said, hey, Donald Trump has been found liable for sexual battery. Donald Trump has been convicted of a felony and has dozens of charges against him. Donald Trump incited an insurrection and deployed the fake elector scheme to try to overturn the democratic results of an election. Hey, husband, my reproductive rights, or maybe our daughters.
Remember that miscarriage I had? You'd make that much more complicated.
Right. Hey, can you please maybe vote for somebody differently? And maybe the husband says, okay, you're right. And he goes in the voting booth and votes for Donald Trump instead. Would that be this disobeying, this undermining of the husband, of the wife's authority in that instance? Why is it only going one way? Is it just because of this ad? Because I'm pretty sure if they had some hypothetical, the Republicans did, of some shrieking harpy wife saying, you gotta vote blue, I love trans people, or whatever, however they'd phrase it, right? They would not be having that same reaction. They'd be saying, well, the woman is hysterical. She doesn't know what's good for her. This is why the man is always right. Because that's exactly how it works. At the end of the day, this whole freak out is the fact that Democrats are advocating in an advertisement for women to have agency and for them not to be completely controlled by their husband in the year 2024. And it fits very nicely with some of Charlie Kirk's colleagues whining about no-fault divorce. It's all about control. Is this clear to people at this point? I hope so. All right, guys, no more time for calls, and we haven't heard from Sam, so I guess we'll have to wait on Monday for a debrief about Tim Pool.
I mentioned that thing about the Hubert Humphrey. This is from a book. I got the citation here in a second, but this is about a renting out of a Masonic lodge in 1938. So a while ago. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to. For this occasion, it had been rented out for a meeting of patriotic Christian citizens who were prepared to take united action against the alien forces that are seeking to undermine our constitutional government, take away our right to free speech, and deprive us of liberty, as the host put in a formal letter of invitation. Knowingly or not, these upstanding people were assembling for a rally sponsored by a homegrown fascist group called the Silver Legion of America, more commonly known by its trademark apparel as the Silver Shirts. Very deliberately aping the brown shirts, Adolf Hitler's militia, the Legion's uniform featured a large scarlet L over the heart, standing for love, loyalty, and liberation. Two other aspects of the Legion's platform, while failing to perpetuate that alliteration, called for returning American blacks to slavery and disenfranchising, segregating, and finally sterilizing American Jews. But free speech. That book I mentioned was Samuel G. Freedom's Into the Bright Sunshine. And that was about the best thing Humphrey did, which is, people remember him as the failure of Vietnam to make LBJ change, but was to say we need to come out of the shadow of states' rights and into the world of human rights. Eventually that led to, it was a big part of the fall of Jim Crow.
Atanash from New York has this, and this is important for me because this is my representative, and for anybody in New York 10 or 9. Hi, for folks living in New York's 10th or 9th district, we have a write-in campaign against Dan Goldman and Yvette Clarke. You can color the bubble write-in and put in Hind Rajab. We want to send a clear message that we do not support either congressman who are complicit in the genocide of Gaza. From New York 10 neighbors. Yes, New York 10, this is a good thing for me to know because obviously Dan Goldman's not at risk of losing his seat, but he had nobody running against him in the primary campaign, and there was one person who was just protest vote for Gaza, and I voted for that person in the primary, and they did surprisingly okay. Dan Goldman can't ride the I was the Trump lawyer guy forever. He's way too conservative for the district that he represents. People may remember that race with Yulee New and the vote splitting that Mondaire Jones engaged in, right? So, or was that, did Mondaire run? No, did he run? Or
I think it wasn't Goldman Uline. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Goldman Uline, but there was another. I think Mondaire did run in that. God, my memory is so bad. But there was another leftist candidate that split that vote. Bradley, do you remember that?
I'll double check it.
Okay. Abnormal Gay says, abnormal gays supporting our trans community and love MR.
Well, it was also Carlina Rivera. Is that what you're talking? There was Carlina Rivera in that primary.
But Mondaire Jones ran in that race too.
Yes, I'm pretty positive.
Okay.
I didn't know Goldman, in addition to being a supporter of Israel's genocide and settler projects, I don't know if he'd say that, but I will say it, a former prosecutor and heir to the Levi Strauss fortune. So
yes.
Good Democrats we're getting. Love this middle-class shit we got going on.
Yeah, it sucks. What was that, 2018?
So in this 2022 primary,
2022.
It was very diffuse because there were 12 candidates, and Mondaire got about 18% of the vote, which then Yulee New was in second with around 24, and then Goldman with around 26.
Okay, so I'll be writing in Hind Rajab for Dan Goldman, and if that's your representative, you can do the same.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.